Okay, everyone, we are going to be taking a first look at Watch Dogs 2. Or the reason this is 2021, by the way, because I want to discuss FPS boost mode. Yesterday, Xbox came out and dropped some information on this new initiative that they got going on for their backward compatibility. So basically, this is gonna like 20 minutes talking and then we're gonna get into gameplay. Okay, let me go and continue so you can see gameplay while we're talking about this. Okay, so we're playing the Xbox Series X, by the way. Boost mode, or FPS boost mode, is gonna come to Xbox Series X and Xbox Series S. What it is certain games are gonna get an automatic FPS boost. Right now, it's for Watch Dogs 2, Sniper Elite 4, Far Cry 4, Super Lucky's Tale, and UFC 4. Two of those games are on Game Pass, so you can try them out on Game Pass if you want. So, like they've been out speaking about technical details, and we're all super nerds here. So let's get into some details of what's going on. Right. So next generation consoles are out, and they can play last generation console games. But we want our next generation consoles to be able to take advantage of the power of last generation. Now, there's a lot of problems involved with this, because a lot of the times last generation console games are like FPS locked and have hard caps on frame rate and stuff. So unless the devs come in and they make patches for their games, they can't fully take advantage of next generation. We've seen PlayStation and Xbox do that for a lot of their big titles, right? PlayStation recently did it for God of War. They did it for Ghost of Tsushima. Xbox did it for Forza Horizon 4, Gears 5, where the publishers literally have to come in, spend money, and fire up the dev team again and put in that work, right? But that won't always happen, because publishers don't want to spend money, or for many other reasons. They could be working on remasters, or they've moved on from the game. That literal dev team got dissolved. That studio don't exist no more. There could be many reasons of why these games won't get updated and see better improvement on next generation consoles. So when PS4 Pro came out and Xbox One X, like last generation, came out, there was a lot of pro patches, right? And the PS4 Pro had like actual boost mode. But the problem with that was, it literally, like let's say a game ran at like 24, 25 frames per second, the extra horsepower of those consoles would stable it out to like 30 frames. So the same thing happened with next generation, because it's got way more horsepower. We've seen like the Digital Foundry videos and everything. If those games were like, weren't always hitting 30 or weren't always hitting 60, the added power could like stabilize stuff out. But that still leaves hundreds and hundreds of games where the original devs, they're not going to come back and do work to this game to make it compatible for next generation, because they're not the big first party title games, because it's on Microsoft and Sony to do this, because it helps sell their new consoles, right? They're gonna patch Gears of War or God of War, because it's a good sell for the console. But you can't expect Ubisoft to come and work on a 4 or 5 year old game, because Watch Dogs, the third Watch Dogs is out. They're not going to go back and work on the second one. If anything, you would expect them to probably like make remasters and stuff, right? I saw people on forums going, well, publishers might not be happy at this. This literally kills the remaster, right? If this works. So the difference between what Xbox and Sony largely have been doing before, about patch older games to get them working on next gen and better performances. Xbox came out yesterday and announced FPS boost mode. How this works is, the devs literally don't have to do anything. They don't have to patch their games. Like Xbox internal studio just works on everything. they've made a technique, like, you know how they've added um DR, sorry, I'm forgetting the name of it. You know how they added dynamic lighting, dynamic HDR, high dynamic range, to a lot of their games, like auto HDR, is basically kind of the same principle where they've managed to like games that weren't coded for HDR are going to be able to use HDR. Sometimes it works well, sometimes it doesn't. They have a toggle. Their plan is to for FPS boost mode to basically be the same kind of thing. The original devs don't have to come on and do patches or anything. It would just work. So the 5 initial games that they showed were it was like interesting, right? Because new Super Lucky's Tale doesn't. It was already 60 FPS, so they're literally testing out where it gets boosted to 120 FPS. It can like double the frame rate. Or like here, Watch Dogs 2. This was originally 30 FPS. They've boosted it to where it's now 60 FPS. Driving terrible. So yeah, I've gone into the options. I've like I've increased the brightness because I felt the game was a little bit dark, and then I'm playing this on. It doesn't matter if you're playing on disc or download. And I up the controls because it feels like so fast now. I lock sensitivity, I turn up to 80, and my boomer ass doesn't like things moving too fast. So I always keep stuff on 50, but I was like, no, this feels so slow now because I got double the frame rate. So yeah, FPS boost mode, they've come out and said that every couple of weeks we're going to be adding more games into this. The original devs don't have to do any work. It's just going to work. They said for Xbox Series S, it could be like, okay, so the technical stuff. They said every game is not gonna get FPS boost mode because the way they do it is nerdy stuff. Like from the information I can gather, so let's say a 30 FPS game, it puts out 30 frames per second. They trick the engine, the game engine, into thinking 1 second has passed and to put out those 30 frames in that second, when in actual fact only half a second has passed. So they make the game engine think, okay, move on to the next second and put out another 30 FPS. And then they didn't say this, but I'm assuming this is what happens. They then stitch both of those 1 and 2 seconds together, and then they get a full 60 FPS. So that's kind of how they're going about it. Now, the reason this won't work for everything, because they've come out and said, well, we've been doing a lot of testing for certain games, and they said it all depends on the engine. For certain games, we tested it on, and it literally didn't work because certain things in the game were moving too fast, right? And we play a lot of fighting games here, and we play a lot of Souls games here. Like initially, when I heard about this, I was like, oh, because people are going, well, the first batch of games that they did is real weird, right? And I was like, yeah, do Dark Souls next. But after hearing these interviews, I was like, wow, I wonder if they can even do games like Dark Souls or whatnot. Because there's certain games where the physics is tied to the FPS, and like doing this FPS boost mode, it could literally break certain games. So that's the first issue. I was like, oh, this is a downer. This means that it might not work for everything. So that's the first problem. The second thing was, they said, like, let's say, like, just if the game's 60 FPS, that doesn't mean it's gonna automatically boost to 120 FPS, because UFC 4 is in this, and that didn't get boosted to 120 FPS. I think the reason they picked Super Lucky Style 2, sorry, not New Super Lucky Style, because that didn't have a lot of overhead, right? That probably wasn't the hardest game to run, so it was probably easier for them to like use that game. I realized I picked a car that is like so loud. You might not be able to hear what I'm saying. So that game had enough overhead where they could boost it to 120 FPS. They could boost it to 120 FPS, but like a lot of those other 60 FPS games, certain games are locked to 60 FPS. So yeah, like going forward, all I was thinking of last time when I saw this, could they do this with fighting games? Like, how would this even work with fighting games, right? Would that put the timing and everything off? Are we gonna only see this with like open world games and like stuff that doesn't need multiplayer? It's gonna be like very interesting, like what games come to this and what doesn't. And again, they said like it is depending on the engine to see if it works, because like so this is like the core basic set of how they're gonna make it work, right? And what they've said is sometime like the Xbox Series S version might see an improvement where the Xbox One, Xbox Series X version doesn't. So let's say like the Xbox Series X hasn't got enough muscle to boost that game. It's already at 60 FPS and it hasn't got enough muscle to boost that game to 120 FPS. So we're just gonna, you know, it would just stay at how it is, it's 60 FPS. But the Xbox Series S, it might be 30 FPS. So we'll boost that version to give you 60 FPS. So it will be on parity of the more powerful console. So yeah, it's like it's not initially when I heard this, I was like, oh, this is gonna be so sick for every single backward compatibility game. What it sounds like is not gonna be every single game. It's gonna be dependent. They still have to do a lot of tests. I mean, I don't know how they didn't go into super technical details, but I wonder if it's like a certain engine, like a Unreal Engine 3. It depends how the game was made and how it was coded, right? So let's hope a lot of these games are made and coded in a certain way where they can get it working on a lot of games. But if you like, Microsoft and their internal team have been paying major respect to backward compatibility, and I freaking love it. And I hope they can get this working with a lot of games, because this is borderline a bombshell and massive. And if you don't understand why this is a borderline massive, is literally because of the fact of we don't have to, like, they've already said, yeah, we're gonna have to speak to those original publishers and speak to them to see if it's okay, because even when they did their backward compatibility stuff, right, I mean, there was a bit of PR speak, but let's be real. Let's say they made Red Dead Redemption 2 run at 60 FPS when it's 30 FPS locked. But let's say Rockstar was working on a like a remaster at 60 FPS. Would Rockstar really want that version to come out? Because they would cut into their profits, right? Or it could just be like they've also said this, well, it might not be to the original intent of the developer. Like, they could not like how it runs at 60 FPS. They wanted it to be locked at 30 FPS. So they might say no for many reasons, but we still have to get permission. So that's the first thing. The second thing they said is sometime, like, here was the curious thing. They said, oh, sometime to get it, like, let's say it's the 30 FPS game, even though the next generation consoles have a good amount of grunt, right? It might not have enough grunt to hit 60 FPS. So we can do things like turn off AA and AF to for anti-aliasing technology to make the graphics look a tad bit worse, so that the game hits that 60. So the option isn't in at the moment, but I'm pressing the home button here. If you look on the right hand side, top right, where you can see the clock, soon they said in a system update, we're going to have the option where you see if the game is running in auto HDR and FPS boost mode. And we're going to have an option for you to turn it off. The reason we're going to have an option for you to turn it off is you might want to play that game how it was originally intended. Like, you know, you see a lot with the emulator scene, whatever, right now, where people go, no, we want to play it where it had that original slowdown and everything. And we want to play it just exactly how it was and not how it is now with the boost. So we're going to give you the option where you can turn this off if you want to play it how it was originally. Also, we're going to give you this option of sometime we might have to do things like make the game look worse graphically by turning off anti-aliasing or things like that to hit that 60 FPS. That's why it's like, that's the stuff that is really fascinating for me now. Going forward, we're going to have to see. Everybody's excited to say maybe their backward compatibility program is starting up again, because they got like 500-600 OG Xbox and Xbox 360 games that were on the list, and then they said we're moving on to next generation stuff. That team was moving on to next generation stuff, and this is what they've basically been working on now, this FPS boost mode. People are saying like, oh, there's rumors that they could be firing up the backward compatibility stuff as well. So more games could be coming to backward compatibility. So we're all super excited. But yeah, you gotta, like, you know, if you're a PlayStation fan, whatever, Xbox fan, you gotta be just loving what they're doing here with, like, you know, get power out of your new consoles and get free updates to games that would have never have seen these updates. So, okay, we're playing Watch Dogs 2 here. Chat, this is the first time in the history of Watch Dogs, out of all 3 games, that we've ever seen Watch Dogs at 60 FPS on a console. There's never been a 60 FPS Watch Dogs game on a console, and now, like, some people are going, oh, why did they do Watch Dogs 2, whatever, blah, 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 blah. But, like, if you think in that grand scheme of things, there's never been a 60 FPS Watch Dogs game on consoles. Watch Dogs 1 was 30 FPS, Watch Dogs 3, Legions, whatever, is 30 FPS. This is the first time 60 FPS. Now, there's still caveats. So games that didn't get, like, you know, you had PS4 Pro patches for games that came out after 2016, and then games that came out for after 2017, they also got Xbox One X's, right? Those were the mid-generation refreshes of last generation consoles, where they got patches to, because there was 2 SKUs of each, whether you're Microsoft or Sony, and those consoles were more powerful, so those games ran better. This was one of the games that didn't get a Xbox One X patch. So this still runs at 900p. So this is 900p now, but is at 60 FPS. So if you go to the forums and everything and you hear they're talking, they were like, oh, it kind of sucks now. I can play the 1080p version on PlayStation, or I can play the 60 FPS version at 900p on Xbox. Because Sony isn't doing anything like this, and I don't even think they are, because they have not paid any respect to backward compatibility. Sure, PlayStation 4 games work on PlayStation 5, but they've not done anything like this as well, right? The boost mode that was on PS4 Pro, that was just the basic, if your game's 25 FPS, we can get it to hit that 30 FPS. But the problem still stands of, like, remember, like, on the channel, we literally did a video a couple of weeks ago where we played Assassin's Creed Unity, and the only way to get the 60 FPS version was to find the OG disc version. And I was laughing on Twitter a bit. I was like, haha, I called it. In the first 10 minutes and 50 seconds of that video, go to it. I said, this is what Xbox needs to do. They need to go in themselves and literally make it where they can, like, turn off the FPS cap limit. You know, it wasn't that simple, because the way I described how they actually do it, they trick the engine into thinking it's already put out its 30 frames, and then they get it to put another one out, and I'm assuming they're stitching it together. So it's way more complex. But literally, that's what we've got now, right? Like, you know, these games that were locked to 30 FPS and haven't had, there's no way to get the OG 60 FPS version that wasn't patched or anything, or the OG better version 1 version was on the disc, whatever. Like, the only games that benefit from next generation, people are, like, doing forum threads and posts, are those games that were 60 FPS and didn't get patches to lock them in. Those games will benefit from next generation because they were running at, like, 45 FPS and stuff, and they just automatically gain from the more power of PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. But a lot of games weren't that, right? A lot of games were 30 FPS locked, you know. So a lot of your old generation games will get, like, if, again, with the big caveat of if, depending on how many games they can get this working for, depending on the engine, we could potentially see a lot of games get free boosts, and that would be sick. Now, the second question is, are they going to only be able to do this with last generation games? Are they going to be able to do this with OG Xbox games, or even Xbox 360 games? That would be insane, but I don't see why they couldn't, right? But again, it all depends. I'm screaming a lot loud today, I'm so sorry. It all depends on, you know, how those engine works and stuff. So over the next, how that engine game was originally developed, on how that engine works. So over the next couple of weeks, they said every couple of weeks we're going to be adding more games into the list. I just happen to have a copy of, because everybody on the forum is like, oh, we got to go buy Watch Dogs 2 now on Xbox Store. Oh, wait, it's like 50 bucks. I'm like, oh, shit, I've got a copy of Watch Dogs 2. I had a review copy from 4 years ago. It's funny, the only discs I have on Xbox are review copies, right? And all of them are Ubisoft games. It's so weird. I was looking, I was like, wait, I swear I got a review. So yeah, full disclosure, this was a review copy provided by Ubisoft 4 years ago. So yeah, I was like, oh, I got a copy of that. I'll try out because I didn't really. Sniper Elite 4 and new Super Lucky's Tale is on Game Pass. Nav Game Pass. I could try those, and I was like, that's not really that interesting. This is the one that interests me. So anyway, I was playing this for like 10 minutes off stream, testing out audio and stuff, and I was like, the first two things I noticed, obviously, one, again, this is the first time we've had a 60 FPS Watch Dogs game on a console, which is sick because we're console gamers here. And the second thing is, I was like, wow, because we played Legion. There's a video of that on YouTube and Twitch. Go check it out. Plus that backward compatibility video we did for Assassin's Creed Unity. Like, if they do Unity now, that would be so sick. Like, we can have the like I said in the Unity video. Well, the problem is you can try to find that OG 1.0 disc, but it's gonna be the unpatched version. There's gonna be loads of glitches and bugs. If they could get Unity running at 60 FPS, you know, fully patched up and all that, oh my god, that'd be insane. I hope they do Unity. I wanted to see them do Dark Souls 3 because that's what everybody said. But yeah, so go check out that video. It'll be interesting. But yeah, the other issue is this is still locked to 900p though. Now, and I don't know if they'll be able to do the same thing. Like, everybody was like, oh, this was cool. The initial games were kind of whatever. But like, I wonder if they'll be able to do some kind of resolution boost, like just to get it to 1080p. And honestly, I'm playing this on a, like, you know, you're going to see this as a 720p 60 FPS stream. I'm playing this on a 50-inch telly, and I'm telling you, this looks pretty good at 900p. It's not like, oh, I played Breath of the Wild 900p the other day and I was like, wow, everything looks so soft. This looks like, if you said to me this was native 1080p, I'd be like, okay, it's fine. Like, I don't pixel peep and I can't count on that level, but this looked great to me. I was like, god damn, this is running smooth. 60 FPS, and this looks totally fine at 900p. Unless I do a side-by-side against the PlayStation 1080p version. But yeah, this is a nice little surprise. To the point, I'm like, I wish I had a lot of last-gen games that I had on Xbox now. You know, I got lucky that I covered Watch Dogs 2 here. I didn't cover it on PlayStation. And you know, is paying it forward. But like, you know, if we're not gonna, I got PlayStation, I got Xbox, I cover both. But like, it's really great that Xbox pays respect and homage to their backward compatibility stuff here, because it makes you confident in buying games here. Because, or like, if you put it this way, if you had an Xbox One and you struggled through Xbox One because it was underpowered and has loads of issues, you are going to be loving this now if they can get this working on a lot of games. Because not only do these games run better, they potentially will run way better. So I hope that somehow, I know it was asking for a lot that they do 60 FPS, and 2 weeks later after I put out that video, they listened to me. I'm just saying, 2 weeks later we got this boost mode, FPS boost mode. Like, maybe they can change some INI file, whatever, and like somehow manage to unlock that and get it to 1080p. That would be even more insane. But this look, I'm telling you, I'm playing 50. I'm like 7 feet away from my TV, 50-inch, Sony, and gaming mode. I'm 60 FPS, and this looks great. This looks absolutely great. And what is the weird thing is I can't at the moment. So again, a lot of people are going to say, wait, I'm going to try this at home. How does it work? So at the moment, the 5 games they announced will automatically work. First thing, all they're saying is you have to update the game. I don't know if there's a patch for the game, because I installed the game and there was already an update for the game. And I don't know if that's just an update because the menu says, oh, buy Watch Dogs Legion now. And I don't know if Ubisoft came and did that update, or that's an update that they've also added. But there was an update for the game when I installed it, because I had to go get out from my collection. And there's also a system update. You do that system update, and then these 5 initial games will just work. You have to do a console restart if it doesn't work. So if you go into your settings, there's a power setting option. Under that power setting option, there's actually restart console. It's important that you do that, because the Xbox, no matter what you do, it goes into it like a even if you don't put into sleep, it doesn't do the full shutdown. So if you can't get it to work, remember to do the restart from that power thing. Even if you pull out the cord, it was going to a shutdown mode, not a restart mode. So you have to restart it for all the updates to kick into effect. And in the next update that they said they got coming out in the next couple of weeks or months or whatever is due, you're gonna have a toggle option that you can turn off FPS boost per game that supports it along with HDR, and it's gonna be there in the top right of the menu. They put out screenshots, you can go find them on the internet. I'm too lazy to cut in here, I'm sorry. Where you're gonna see if the game supports auto HDR and FPS boost mode. So yeah, on the grand scheme of things, I just wanted to do a short video. I know loads of content creators are doing video on this, but nobody's really like driving around and playing the game in depth for long. They're just really talking about what this is. If you've got any of these games, try it out. If you like backward compatibility and you want your older games to run well, yes, this is sick. This is, like, for lack of a better word, this is just straight. This is sick. When I saw this yesterday, I was like, God damn, that's pog. You know, to use a Twitch word. But yeah, I'm going to be fascinated to what games come on this. Are they going to be able to do fighting games? If they are going to be able to do fighting games, do people even want them to do fighting games? Because it will mess up the timing and everything. Do we want to see? Because most fighting games run at 60 FPS anyway, so does it matter? Don't touch those. Do we want to see fighting games at 120? So we might not see fighting games. Can they only do a certain type of game? Are we going to see Dark Souls? Please do Dark Souls. I hope the way that Dark Souls was made, they can't even... It might not, because they said... because they've been doing the rounds and talking to loads of press outlets. Why didn't you talk to Pro Streamer? That's all I want to say, Xbox. They've been talking to a lot of press outlets, and they said, we're keeping an eye on the community, and we know the games that people want. We're listening, everything. So they must know, because literally everybody said, do Dark Souls. The problem with Dark Souls was... In 2016, when Dark Souls 3 came out, it got a PS4 Pro patch, but because the Xbox Series X came out, Xbox One X came out like a year later, almost a year later, it didn't get a Xbox patch. So Dark Souls 3 is not only locked to 900p on the Xbox, it's also locked to 30 FPS, which kind of sucks. So you can play the first two at 60 FPS, even though they're like lower resolution. 3 is still locked to 30, so it really needs it. Because I would love to play that collection on Xbox. So yeah, that's the state of everything. This is a long talk and to explain what's going on. Keep an eye on like Xbox Wire every couple of weeks. They're going to say these are initial 5 games that are in at the moment. Fascinating stuff. You know, I want to see them do more. I wonder, like, you know, they're probably saying, "Well, we just announced this." And we're just adding more games into this, and people are already asking. Everybody was like so jaded, right? Gamers are so jaded. It was like, oh yeah, this is really cool, but can they up the resolution? And I'm saying the same thing, I know, right? But if they can do that, what else can they do? Yo, can this thing, like, you know, order me food? Can it record my TV shows? Oh wait, we tried that last generation. Okay, that was like forced. That was not meant to come out. No. They tried that. It didn't work. No. That was just, it was a joke. Don't try that again. Focus on the backward compatibility. So yeah, this, I have upped the brightness a little bit. It looked a little bit dark to me. So, I like gamma up by 2 is on 60. I don't know if it was a brightness setting or a gamma setting. But this game came out like years and years ago, so the audio options are terrible. Like, there's licensed music all over the place. They haven't got individual sound effects options, and it's just like turn music on or off. You know, I was like, God damn it, this is gonna be kind of hard to stream. So what we do here, we stop here a second, and let's actually get into some actual gameplay, because that's just being me driving around and talking, because I'm sure you just want to see how it runs. Where like do a mission and stuff and cut back so you can see some like action stuff, I suppose, and see how it works. So stay right there. All right, so now that we got the talking out the way, let's go do an actual mission. Yes, I can't remember. I wanted to wait until the system update came out. So you could, I don't know if you're going to be able to turn off on the fly, because it would have been good to test, oh, this is on and this is off. Or it might, I don't know if it is going to be like, oh, you got to do a full reboot of the game or the console. But like I can't remember because it's been so long now how the driving felt in this game, and I don't know if this feels better because it's running at a higher, like it should do, right? It's running at a higher frame rate, so it should feel better. But there's still like I know Digital Foundry did a video, but it wasn't as deep as I thought. Like I want like, oh, how is the feel of the game gonna feel different, and the you know, like my input, how is that going to change from it, like, is this a real 60, or if you're stitching 260 30 frames together, what does that mean for that kind of stuff, right? Like, is the engine still running like, say it was 230 FPS frames to put together? So if I'm playing a fighting game, well, there isn't a lot of 30 FPS fighting games, but just for argument's sake, you know, have I got that much input delay based on a 30 FPS game? There's a different input delay for a 30 FPS game than there's a 60 FPS game. And the fact that you guys and girls are now putting like stitching 230 frames together, does that mean that like the input delay for those kind of things changes as well? Or like, is this just the looks thing? Is this going to affect the feels thing? What does that mean for games like Dark Souls, if you even can do Dark Souls? Like, that was the kind of like nerdy questions I had, and like none of those, because apparently they spoke to a lot of outlets like a week ago. They managed to get that content out like a week ago early, but I was just like, okay, I can't wait. I just want to get some footage out of what this looks like in actual gameplays running. But there's still loads of questions to be answered, like on that technical kind of thing. I was like, oh, maybe that's why they put UFC 4, because that is a fighting game, but not really, right? I don't know if anybody's like frame counting on UFC to that level, because it was a very animation based heavy game anyway. I still have a lot of questions. I at one point, like, I'm terrible with names, but they got the gentleman that is like the head of that division and gets out and speaks to a lot of publications. I was like, oh, should I reach out to him on Twitter and ask him these nerdy questions? And I was like, no, the way that YouTube and Twitch works, I need to get this video out very fast. So, you know, I could have done this like in a couple of weeks time, where that's cool art. That like budget Rhea from Power Rangers. Again, like 900p, this looks pretty good. I'm just saying, man. Like, come on. I'm not complaining. This doesn't look 900p. It was pretty sharp. I was like, yeah, I should have covered this in a couple of weeks when that update comes out, so we can see what the toggle works like. But, you know, I still have certain questions. So, all right, what's the mission?
Yo, you interested in taking a turn? We need one more person to play. It's one of those new German games. Yeah?
Shit, that's Free Road. It won a golden ace. I'd love to, but I'm kind of running late.
Anyway, so playing this game for like 20 minutes off stream, I was like, wow, I like this game a lot better than 3. It had so much more personality. So yeah, and I don't know if driving feels better now because of... I hope there's not licensed music here. I did mute everything, but still I might have to mute audio. I don't know if the driving feels better because the new 60, because I don't know how they, again, for everything I just explained, I don't know how they're doing this stitching 2 frames together, 2 seconds of frames together. If the driving feels better because of that, or the driving just felt better in 2 compared to 3. It feels much better here, I swear.
All right, you need 2 things to take down Bloom. You need to get people to rally
There's
behind
licensed music everywhere. This sets a good tone and everything, but licensed music, just keep that in mind. This game has way more personality than 3.
We spent all night modifying our app so you can get followers to download the app, and we can use their processing power for the cause.
This is happening? It's really happening?
Yeah, man, this is happening. You better get to it.
Hell yeah, man! Barbarians are at the gate and ready to bust some Roman heads.
Yeah, we're gonna focus on some high-profile ops, playing for exposure and laughs to get people.
Also, how nice does my
download
bag look?
our
I changed
app.
my
Don't
clothes.
worry.
I look fly. Is this game based in San Fran? I don't know if you'd wear that top in
Alive
San
and
Fran.
dry.
You'd probably boil.
I wasn't sure after your moonlight swim. Come here. You've got to check this out. Behold, our very own open source research app. So, like, all of us here pool vulnerabilities that we find, and we encourage everyone to share their work, their research, etc.
Okay, so what's the research app do?
Widen our skill set? Make us irresistible to the gender of our choice?
What, so it's like a I know Kung Fu kind of deal?
If Kung Fu was a gender and not so 1999? Absolutely.
Hold on. Am I seeing each other? What do you want me to do? Unlock a skill using the research app. You know what the another weird thing here? My save didn't load. I'm pretty sure I covered this a couple of years ago. And I don't know if that's because Ubisoft, like, they made some major changes to this game, right? And content, if it was one of those, oh, your previous save ain't gonna work, or if this is because of the patch and stuff. I'm not sure. Like A to hold a skill to unlock. Vehicle hacking. I mean, let's just pick anything. Botnets. Marksman. Remote control. I mean, I want to. People's data manipulation? What's in tinkering? I mean, the one I want to pick, electronic shock device, knocks people out temporarily. Throw, then neutralize nearby NPCs with LB. I got it. Yeah, set of menus in there. I don't know. This game was better than 3.
Behold, the wonders of technology.
A 3D printer?
This is the army of printers. It is capable of pumping out an arsenal of lethal weapons down.
All right, maybe resolution stuff wise, you can see from his top.
Voila!
That's the first time I've seen it. Like, okay.
All good, except I'm no hipster.
You keep telling yourself that. Now
In
try to make
it,
some.
come on, really straight
But
hipster in
don't
there.
close up.
This game has a lot of motion blur. There's no turn off motion blur option, unfortunately. I think I see film grain as well. No option for that. 2016, different time. Games devs didn't give us options. Print the RC jumper and any weapon.
The original Chicago DedSec has coordinated operations, everybody mostly working towards the same goal. Rumors say that the leaderless group actually has somebody upstairs calling the shots. The Council of Daves. I can't say
Council
if it's
of
true or not,
Daves?
but somebody's focusing their efforts. I know because I studied everything about them, even ran a few of their ops. I wanted to emulate them, try to figure out what worked for them and apply it to us. But the...
Again, a lot of music here to set tone and all that, but I had to turn it off. You're wondering. There's actually cool music in the bunker and stuff. Alright, let's go print. Right there. Am I not meant to? There we go. Yeah, Free did some good things about, you know, like possess anybody or whatever. But it did lose a lot of the personality though. Maybe it was just the same. Being from UK myself, I don't know, London is not the most fascinating. Even future London. Kind of boring setting, you know. Gadgets and weapons. They did a lot of things right, but then a lot of things it was missing from the personality of this. I think this might have been the peak of Watch Dogs. Probably the version you won at 60, right? Use the equipment wheel to equip weapons, gadgets, hold that equipment wheel. Deploy, take control, jumper. Right, got it. Talk to... there might be a cut here because I think there's a lot of learn, get your stuff, whatever. So jump out when we get to a mission. All right. Let's
The app's downloaded and I'm in the park. What am I testing?
Start profiling things around you. People, devices. See what you can pull from them. That's what helps us figure out our next ops. And running ops that are important to people is how we get them interested in DedSec. The more followers download our app, the more intel we get. It's the circle
The
of
more
life.
people that join our stream
And
and
see if you can
subscribe.
find some components to help us with our research. Hipster merchant
The app is your data mining tool.
of death.
Okay, I got this. So what now?
Up to you, man. You're free to do whatever catches your eye. We post ops to the DedSec app, and doing them helps us get followers. And followers are our Skrilla. Followers move computers,
In NetHat,
which
look for
boosts our
orange
processing
signals. Locate
power,
the side
which lets us
operation.
do bigger and badder ops.
Sorry, my phone is going crazy. In NetHat, look for orange signals to locate side operation intel. Press R to operate in NetHat.
Hey, so what's this about Bobo Dakes?
You know Bobo's working on a new album, right?
Yeah, I heard.
Well, you won't get to hear it? Motherfucker Gene Carcani just put millions on the table to keep it all to himself.
What does a
Yikes.
big pharma CEO want with a rap album?
Dude has
Fucking
a
big
huge Bobo
pharma.
collection.
Am I right?
And he probably wants to hang that shit on his wall
Right
like
now
a
as
damn
well.
trophy.
Get the
Just
vaccine
rubbing
table,
his
you
money in our
fucks.
faces, bruh.
Do you know if Bobo took the deal?
He hasn't announced anything yet, but he will.
This game
It's a
new.
lot of cash.
And maybe
Check
there's
out
still
Bid
time
Gang
for
over
an
here.
intervention.
Time for what?
I assume you guys have heard of Gene Carcani?
He's the shit sack who's on TV laughing about how he's raising the price of leukemia medicine.
Yeah, the most hated
Alright, let's
man
go
in
shoot him.
America. Yeah, well, yes.
Guy's a huge Bobo Dakes fan. Must have read Bobo's in town recording new tracks because he's offering millions to keep the album to himself.
So stupid. Bobo will never go for it.
The real one won't. So we're gonna do it for him. I'm gonna visit Bobo and see if I can borrow some of his new tracks as proof that we're legit.
How do we contact Carcani?
I need you guys to run through interviews, podcasts, whatever. Find me some usable lines. We're gonna make a soundboard.
Ooh, I love
Licensed music. I can't do it. No. No, okay, this is not the mission. They're trying to get the footage taken down. We did that Assassin's Creed footage, and Sony and so many music labels came after that video. There's like 7 different, if you go click on the YouTube details, like 7 different companies that are coming after a video that for a game that was 6-year-old, and I turned off music. I was like, what the actual? So, you know. I was like, what? There was no. Yeah, and
Marcus,
I
guys,
can't wait till that option
the
comes to
cyber
if I go
driver
back to
just
30,
dropped.
how does driving
Oh,
feel?
yeah, sweet. Hey, don't watch it without me.
Meet you at the hackerspace.
I'm on my way.
Alright, no, watch out. We're fine. We're fine. Honestly, I've been trying to figure out for days how to turn those notifications off or make them smaller. I can't figure it out. That's a little bit confusing. If you're listening, did you listen to my, 60 FPS either Xbox? Make that a little bit easier. I'm literally staring at it going, wait, what does this notification turn off? What is this? I just want to keep on the trophy, nothing else. Like a glove. You want me to just...
Love me. Said it. Said I was the one. He's gonna take me home to mama. No, I'm going to enjoy this.
Oh, no, I didn't mean to do that. Hold on. Oh, I think I was meant to hack his stuff, not, Okay, hold on. Whoops. I got beat up and somebody did some stuff.
I've got a new Bobo track the world has never heard before. How's
And
the
also a
soundboard coming?
concussion.
A Bobo Dakes, bitch.
Oh, perfect.
So, how do we contact Carcani?
I'm gonna visit his mansion. I need to see his face when we do this.
Where's the mansion? Oh, I need to find the... Driveways? We don't need driveways. Oh.
Hey! Huge mistake.
Wow, that was
You
random,
talk to
lady.
your dog with that mouth?
Why? Okay, I'm
You
sorry.
want to hear a joke? Your face. Shit-stained meat sack. You're just a skid mark on the pages of
This
history.
freaking Karen out here, piss off. I can't remember. Does there be like a little mini game here?
Time to mess with the farmer clown.
This ass face deserves it.
Hack into Gene Cook's mansion.
Hello?
Sup?
Sup? Who is this?
Yo, bitch. It's Bobo Dakes.
Holy shit. I'm a huge fan. Are you taking me up on my offer?
Yeah, I laid down some hot tracks.
Really? Fantastic.
Look at this square.
Yup.
Can I get a sample?
On the raise, on the crave. Haters blown the fuck
Don't
away.
copyright strike my video. I gotta speak over that because I don't know if it's a real track. Oh my god.
Damn.
This is the struggle of
That's
being a
dope.
content
It's the
creator
best
in
work yet.
You're welcome.
But this
2020.
is exclusive,
All
right?
I know, they put a
No
real
one
beat
else
on
gets
there, and
this,
you
just
know,
me?
only music comes after me.
So how do you want payment?
The bitch better have my money.
I do. I just need to know how to route it to you.
Y'all, check it.
Ah, there. That's the routing number?
Yup.
Yes. Hustled.
Send
Live streaming
and
as well.
confirmed.
Wait,
Got
is
it.
it live stream within a live
This is
stream?
awesome,
Is it
man.
live
This
stream?
is
Is
like a
give
dream
recording,
come
edit, and
true.
highlight, upload everywhere?
Bobo Dakes.
This is next level Inception.
What?
They say God made man in his own image, but God made himself in Bobo's image.
What are you talking about?
Yo, bitch, it's Bobo Dakes.
No. No. No, 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 no. Oh! What the shit? No! What? Come on! What are you guys doing to me? Why me? Come on! I'm
You're
a good
piece
guy!
of shit. Are you?
Jeez, it's just business! I got shareholders, bitches!
I look at the footwear. Uh-oh. And we out. Wait, someone
Guys.
dropped my bike.
Guys, he just donated
What kind of
20
neighborhood
million
is
to
this? Somebody
leukemia
dropped my bike.
research.
You know how much effort I put into
Bitch,
jacking
better
them?
have my money.
Yo, who did that?
Well, that might be the perfect place. Just go to HQ. That might be the perfect place to call it. Yeah, so there you have it. That was first look at like FPS boost mode coming to Xbox Series X and S. Well, it's out for 5 games already. Do what I told you in the video to, you know, get it working on the games. The 5 games they announced. If you can't get it to function every couple of weeks, hopefully they should be adding more games into that list, and also adding those toggles so you can turn it on and off, so you can see when it's on. Watch this space. Like, saying interesting development is like the understatement of the
Feel like
century.
stealing some primate intel?
You got
This-
something for me?
One of their lackeys in your neck of the woods.
This
Hack 'em for
looks
what they've got. Make sure you don't get caught. You know how
Uh-oh,
primate
get me
do.
to that. I'm waiting to close. How do I... There you go. This looks... This could be so sick for people who like backward compatibility and like older games. And I got a massive collection of games, so I hope they bring it to 360 and OG Xbox games, because, you know, that would be even better. But yeah, watch this space. Let's see where this goes. Let's see what games it is compatible with, what games it is not, what, like, depending on what engines used. I would still like to see some technical details on, you know, like fighting games and games that are like, you know, oh, it needs to be 30 and 60 FPS, because that's what, like, you know, this is a 5-frame jab, you know, and this is what we know how, because this is a 5-frame jab running at 60 FPS. Now, if you make this fake, or like stitch 2 frames together and make that 120, you know, is that a 2.5 frame jab, or will that not work like that? That kind of information will be interesting, but that we don't have here. But yeah, other than that, this is great, you know. Yeah, so this will be going up as a highlight over on Twitch and YouTube. If you're watching this on Twitch and YouTube, drop a like, leave a comment, let me know what you think, what games you want to see next, because, you know, they said they're going to keep an eye on the community and stuff like this to know what games people want, so that's the games that they should focus on first. That Assassin's Creed Unity video just went up a couple of weeks ago. That would be interesting to go back and look at now. Maybe we do another follow-up for that if they do add a 60 FPS. The boost mode works on that. And we got because there are certain games that work without it, right? Like, again, I said the games that they went in and patched already. Somebody did ask about Xbox One X enhanced games. Are those also going to be upgraded further? They said they're looking at everything, including those games. So maybe those enhanced games that were, you know, 30 and higher res, they can get them 60 now, so you can have 60 and higher res as well. So yeah, we're gonna there's gonna be a video of Skyrim going up in like a week or two, where we played with the 60 FPS mod on that. So yeah, loads of, I mean, no new games ain't out for both consoles at the moment, so, you know, we're in that spell of COVID and everything, so it's nice to go back to your older games and play them at, you know, better frame rates. But yeah, we got community Discord and Twitter. I stream a couple of times a week over on Twitch. All that information will be in the description. Come check us out. Other than that, we're gonna call it with this one. Much love. Peace.